send the Aussies to speak in behalf of the Americans right now.
You shouldn't call me an Aussie. This is the team. It's a multi-institution team. The PI Institute is Johns Hopkins, where I am. Ben Zychek is the leader of it. I'm the Kiwi who will jump in any chance it has to come down under. And we've got Penn State and some other DOE labs. The focus of this, so it's called the Baltimore Social Environmental Collaborative, BSEC, is that we're aiming to come up with a kind of climate adaptations and to have a heavy focus on the community playing a role in defining it. And so as well as these institutes, we've got lots of community partners. We've got the Office of Sustainability from the Baltimore City is playing a major role in this. Which way does this go forward? Yeah. Okay, so these are one of the 4 integrated field labs. First of all, why Baltimore? First of all, I'll apologise that Ben Zychek put most of these slides together and we're too busy talking in the US and we forgot to even acknowledge where Baltimore is. So Baltimore is on the east coast of the US, 45 minutes north of Washington, DC. That's a plus or a negative, I don't know. And it has many of the challenges of other cities in the US, particularly on the eastern, but other places. So it's a flat and declining population. Population's under 1 million now. There's a sprawl, people leaving the city to the surrounding area. It suffers from aging infrastructure and some serious segregation and inequality. And the plot that's showing here is the asthma youth rates. And this is showing the edge of the city. And you can see this region, that there's 2 regions on the east and the west where the asthma rates are through the roof compared to the rest of the city. And in fact, you can look at lots of socioeconomic parameters and you see these same, what's referred to as the black butterfly of Baltimore. So these are the poor, heavily African-American neighborhoods that are the most vulnerable. And it's a region where there's changes in terms of the climate as well. There is, of course, opportunities because it's there's lots of talk and there is starting to be reinvestment and reinvention, and there's the opportunity to do kind of new initiatives. So take advantage of the huge number of vacant homes, vacant lots. So this is a chance that you can perhaps try something different in this city. And we really need cities like Baltimore to be doing this for the people who live there, but also to succeed under this climate change. So our mission is to provide urban climate science that's needed for community-driven, guided, equitable pathways for climate action. Okay, so we want to be getting the community to tell us what their issues are, what are the pathways, are they equitable, are they kind of something they'd like to see. We don't want to be going and defining climate pathways that are going to be making changes that are not what the local community wants to see. So the cycle or the approach we're taking is to have deliberation on goals and constraints with the community, with the other stakeholders, the city, etc. Be increasing the amount of measurements and models. Like I think most cities, there's lacking in kind of measurements and high resolution models. Do this for a cycle of trade-off, come up with these and come up with kind of potential kind of pathways. And this is going to be a cycle here. It's not a one-way street. So we've started with this deliberation and goals. So this is, well, actually it started well before the proposal. So we're building off, many years of building trust and finding out what some of the communities want. So we've had this kind of what we're calling knowledge co-generation. And this is an ongoing process. We've had these kind of initial roundtables to find out what their issues are. In terms of the environmental issues, there's perhaps not too many surprises have come out of that, but then it's always mixed in with other issues they have. And so I think we're rapidly learning, if we didn't already know, that the solution is not just to go after the environmental, we have to go after the other issues there in terms of housing, unemployment, etc. And so finding equitable kind of solutions to heat or other environmental issues involves social solutions as well. And so in terms of the measurements, so this is just a couple of plots that are showing the atmospheric measurements, and this is the air quality measurements. The city's in the black box. This looks pretty good because all these blue are the measurements that we're planning to add. So in terms of weather stations, there's one weather station in the city and one at the airport, and then there's basically nothing else. And even if you had a plot of home consumer kind of citizen science weather stations, there's maybe 200 or 300 of those, and it looks like the inverse of the black butterfly. That basically there's no measurements where the most vulnerable populations live. And similar, we're going to build off air quality. The city has, there looks like there's several sites in the city, but each of them only measures one constituent. So ozone's not measured where PM 2.5 is measured or where NO2 is measured. So we're going to be doing improving this. So I've been spending the US summer doing something I have absolutely no expertise in, but it's enjoyable to do something new, is going out, finding locations to put up weather stations and working with the local communities to find sites for this and do this in terms of a community engagement and to use this as a way to collect information. So I found this has actually been more useful than having a focus group. Has been out on the ground, interacting with them, just hearing them casually what their kind of concerns are. And so we're also building up our modelling capability. Thank you. And then we're going to be using this to come up with the process of how we move forward. And the way that we're structuring this kind of multidisciplinary, multi-criteria problem is using the concept of XLRM, which is a decision science kind of approach, where we're going to combine together. So we have, I'm going to click through all of these. For a given issue, we come up with proposed metrics or goals or outcomes that we care about. And we're going to think about, okay, what are the political or the levers or the things that we can change? What are the uncertainties that we have no control over? And in this model, we'll put the levers, the uncertainties together with the relationships to come up with the metrics. And just as an example, because this seems a little bit kind of abstract, is you can do this for heat. You won't be able to read all of this and you won't need to, but we come up with a series of kind of metrics that we might want to goals or improve, like minimize heat hospitalization, minimize the total cost, but also do this so there's the minimum difference, so we don't want all these savings to be in one part of the city. And the levers include increasing greening to cooling centers, etc. And we're going to be modeling this with a program called City Heat. Details don't matter, but we're also being involved with engaging the community to figure out, are these levers things that they would like to see? Are there other levers we haven't considered? Are we looking at the right metrics? So this is our first kind of goal based on our experience and interactions, but we're getting the community to drive us on this. We don't want to go and start spending 5 years of research when our metrics aren't the ones they care about, or we're coming up with levers, that they don't want to see. Planting more trees, we'll hear a lot about that, but you go and talk to the community, and there's lots of communities that have lots of concerns about planting more trees, so we have to balance on that. Now that's heat. We're doing this for indoor and outdoor air pollution, flooding, and decarbonisation, and we've got lots of other kind of science-focused research activities. So what would be success? So we're hoping, with this integration of various aspects of urban science and a platform that can enhance the environmental research in Baltimore and similar cities. And then the key thing is to be able to translate that to kind of actionable plans and community-guided solutions. And that's all I had. Actually, before I finish, there's also wanted to add, I didn't put a slide in, is as well as the measurements with the team and collaborators have just been selected to be one of the ARM mobile facilities. So about this time next year, hopefully it might be delayed. So the BSEC going to be installing a LiDAR in the city, but the mobile facility will allow to expand that within the city, as well as a rural site, a site on Baltimore's by an estuary, so on one of the islands. So we're going to be able for a network to understand the kind of physical and chemical kind of exchange within the city and how it relates to the surroundings. So that's more data that hopefully we'll be able to bring into this. Thank you.
Back here first.
Just.
So thank you for wonderful talk. And can you please elaborate more on how these other climate indicators can help to achieve these goals?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the question.
How can the urban climate indicators help to achieve these goals?
Yeah, I heard that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We can talk afterwards. Sorry.
Thank you for your talk. Baltimore is one of the 4 IFLs, and in WUDAP, which is a program sponsored by, or at least initiated by the IAAC, we're going to do a demonstration project in these IFLs, Baltimore being one of them. In fact, Baltimore will be a site for the study that we're going to introduce. We're going to have a street and grid modeling system test, and it is to see how traffic and so forth in a canopy can affect exposure and so forth. It'll be one of our very first test beds. And,
Okay.
I'd like you to know that.
Yeah.
So this could be a cooperation. Thank you.
Okay. I should say that this is a big project. I'm struggling to keep track of everything that's going on, and so we're still actually meeting people of their own team. So I suspect that I'm going to find out what's happening within it at this meeting.
Oh, thanks. Of course, very ambitious and important project. And my question about but for the goal and also for project, of course, issues of mitigation are also considered, or is it just another part of the study?
No, so we're considering mitigation and kind of adaptation
Okay,
plans.
just in this presentation, we focus on adaptation.
Yes, yeah, and so there's
On this one.
the heat was an example. There's a big team focused on building energy, and so a couple of things earlier.
Greenhouse gas emissions will be also considered as
Would it help
source.
if I just move this
Yes.
over?
Yes. So we're going to. It's not just mitigation.
Well, I'll just add on that Jorge and myself, we are the co-PIs on the ARM the experiment that will happen. And we're actually hoping that there will be a small group that can meet to discuss some of the modeling and measurement needs coming up with this IFL. So just a plug for that.
Well, let's thank the speaker one more time.
So I'm going to give the last talk.